Today we're going to make Crisco's chocolate chip cookies. These are the best chocolate chip cookies I have ever made. They're so easy and simple and I love them. So preheat your oven to 375 and then we can start mixing. I'm going to use the KitchenAid whisker with the whisk attachment. The first thing you need is 3/4 stick of Crisco. So, and it has the marking on it. So we're just going to cut it. And drop it in. Now we need to add 1 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. So this is a 1/2 cup because it's easier just to get in that bag. So 1 1/4 cup. I'm going to do a little bit more because that one wasn't quite full. Okay. And then you need to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Oh, it smells so good. Alright, so now we're going to pull this down and mix it. So you want to start on low so your brown sugar doesn't go everywhere. And then I'm going to pull it up, scrape the sides, scrape the middle a little bit. And then mix it again. You want it to be kind of light and fluffy, but you really just want it all to be combined really well. So you can see that that's a consistency. All right, so now we're going to add in an egg. So now we're going to add in 3 1/4 cup, or no, 1 3/4 cup of flour. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get out the full cup to measure this because you're supposed to sprinkle it in as you go, or maybe that's not going to work. Okay. So I'm going to pull this down, lock it in place, and put it on the lowest of the settings, and slowly add it in. So I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I'm going to turn it back to the low setting while I do the 3/4 cup. And then last one. Now we're going to add in our milk. This is 2 tablespoons of milk. And I'm going to stop this for a second and scrape. Do you see how it's all bunched up in there? Okay, so I'm going to lock it back into place. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. This is a 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm going to need 2. And I never measure mine directly over the bowl because if you mess up, you mess up. You can't take it back out. So I do mine over another container. Ooh, see, like that. And then we need 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And then we're gonna mix it. All right, so that looks really good to me. I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna press this all out because I don't want to lose any cookie deliciousness. So I've taken it out of the mixer and I'm just gonna scrape the sides down to the middle. Now we add the chocolate chip cookies. The reason you don't use the mixer with the chocolate chip cookies is that it's too rough and it could potentially break them and nobody wants that. I use the Nestle mini morsels. They're semi-sweet chocolate. You do not have to use mini. This is not what the recipe calls for, but it's just what I like to use. So that's about 3/4 of the bag, and I might go ahead and add the rest of it. Go big or go home, right? There's so many. But they'll be so delicious. You're gonna make sure you get the bottom. Alright, those look good to me. Now, our oven is completely preheated to 375. I've covered my baking sheet, my cookie sheet, with parchment paper, and we have the fancy cookie scoop. And it really does make a difference. I used to think, oh, that doesn't do anything. It does. So I just fill it, scrape it, drop it. So this is what they look like all spread out. I'm going to put them in the oven at 375. We're going to start at 8 minutes, but I'll let you know when I really take them out. Alright, so 8 minutes is up, but the cookies are still not ready yet. They're done kind of. Okay, the bad thing about these cookies is that they turn from raw to perfectly cooked to overcooked in less than a minute. They just do. I don't know why, I don't know what about it does that, but they're so good that I'm willing to, after 8 minutes, squat by the oven for like a minute to see when they're perfectly cooked. That just doesn't bother me. So I'm going to sit here and see. And I think they're about done. So it has been exactly 9 minutes and 38 seconds. I timed for you. So at 8 minutes they were raw. Now they are perfect. And what you're going to do is you're going to let them sit. You will be so tempted because they smell so freaking delicious to just fork them into your mouth. Let them sit for another like 3 minutes so they finish cooking in the middle and they're nice and solid on the bottom for when you move them. I might go ahead and put another pan in the oven, so we'll show you when they're all finished and on a pretty platter. These have been sitting while the other ones have been in the oven, so for about 8 minutes. If you're patient, you don't even have to use a spatula. They're set and ready. They're not scalding hot. Patience. The things it'll do for you.
Ashley invited her mama in for a bite of this chocolate chip cookie, and it is packed. I mean, that is packed full.
It's not even the whole bag. That's why I like the mini morsels. It just feels like you're getting more.
That is so soft. And it's crispy, but it's not crunchy, you know? That's a delicious cookie. I love that.
It is. They get nice and crispy around the crunchy. Well, they're not crunchy. They're
crispy.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're the way you want them to be around the edges, but then in the middle they're nice and soft.
Almost like a Chips Ahoy, but not that
thick and dense.
Not that right. And I've never been one to cook with Crisco or anything. Not to turn this into a Crisco ad or anything, but since she used their recipe and she used Crisco, I've never been one to cook with Crisco. But I'm really impressed with that. I like it quite a bit. So you did a good job.
Thanks.